Let's look at the options on the View drop-down menu. If we click here, the first option is Zoom Extents, and you can see not a lot appears to happen. But if I happen to be zoomed in on part of the drawing and click View Zoom Extents, I zoom right out and show the entire drawing. The next option under that is Zoom Limits, and this can often surprise you. If I select it, it zooms right out and we can't see very much at all. The drawing seems to have disappeared. Let's go back to View and Zoom Extents again, and back the drawing comes. The reason for that is that we've not set the limits of this drawing appropriately. It's not really a problem and you don't need to do it, but if we were to use the measure tool and said how far is it from one side of this drawing to the other, it's about 25 meters. So what we'd really want to do is go into the format and go to limits and set the zoom limits, the maximum, to say 25,000 by 22,000, and then zoom limits would work. I'm not going to do that at the moment because most people would stay away from the zoom limits option unless you had a very big drawing and you take the trouble to set things up. Zoom a window enables you to draw a box and everything inside that box gets zoomed. Zoom previous will step you back to where you were. Zoom selected objects is an interesting one which can be very useful. If we select, say, I'll take one of the smaller symbols if I can, and I happen to be zoomed right out, so I've selected one way in there, and if we go View Zoom Selected, you can see we zoom right in on it. And there are mechanisms in the software to zoom in to find a particular entity, even though it might be very small and almost hidden, and zoom in on it. Properties, if we select the properties, up comes the properties box, and it can be stretched to make it a little wider. I prefer to run with that off, but a lot of people like it on. I like more real estate. The same applies to the command line. Some people prefer to remove the command line and remove the properties box, and you can see I've got lots of screen real estate now. These command instructions still work. L for line. If you do turn off the command area, you can't operate the shortcuts, so most of us would leave the command line area on. And now I can click in here, go L for line, and drive it again in that way. The Toolbars option requires a little explanation. If we click on View and Toolbars, up pops this Customized Toolbar box. And we have 4 toolbars that you can play with. Top toolbar 1, top toolbar 2, left toolbar 1, and left toolbar 2. You can see that in my left toolbar, that's the one right over here, second from the left, I've got the distance command and area by internal point on it. If we come back to the top toolbar, you can see here are a list of commands that we can add. We can add separators, so this is showing you your current list. So if we wanted, for the sake of argument, the area option on that one, we could go area and throw it across. Now the area is the last one. It should appear up on the top toolbar to the right of that help file. So if we say OK, and there we are, our area command is there. So you can arrange your icons, your tools, to drive the software. Say you want to get rid of the command area as we've done here, and you want to be able to access all the commands that are in the software. You can now do so via these toolbar icons and arrange them in the way that suits the way you want to work. So play with that at perhaps a later stage of your learning.